On this week's Glanbia Ireland Dairy Focus Vodcast, we'll hear from Glanbia Ireland's Thomas Ryan to give us an insight into the Sustainable Farm Insights partnership between Glanbia Ireland and the Irish Farmers Journal. We'll hear from Teagasc's Richard O'Brien and Stephen Moore on timely decisions as we approach the end of the breeding season. We'll also go through some topical grassland management targets to try and achieve on farm at the moment. Now we'll hear from Thomas Ryan to give us an insight into the Sustainable Farm Insight partnership between Glanbia Ireland and the Irish Farmers Journal.
Hello, it's Thomas Ryan here. I just want to let you know about the new Sustainable Farm Insights programme. This is a programme run by Glanbia Ireland in partnership with the Irish Farmers Journal. So each week in the Farmers Journal there's a dedicated page to the Sustainable Farm Insights programme, which highlights the many positive sustainability actions you're taking on your farms and also brings to your attention some new sustainability actions that you can be taking. So for example, the farmers in derogation, how you're reducing ammonia emissions by using low emission slurry spreading equipment such as a trailing shoe, how you're improving biodiversity by adopting measures from the National Pollinator Plan, and farmers in Gloss, the Green Low Carbon Agri-Environment Scheme, the significant measures you're doing to enhance the rural environment also. The programme, the Sustainable Farm Insights programme, also highlights the good work that's taking place through programmes like the ASSET, the Agricultural Sustainability Support Advisory Programme in the area of water quality, and the importance of the collaboration between ourselves in Glanbia Ireland, the other co-ops and government, as we all focus on the challenge of improving water quality over the time ahead. The Sustainable Farm Insights programme also looks to the future and looks at things like the important role of technology such as anaerobic digestion to manage nutrients on the farm, to reduce risks to water quality. It calls out the necessary policy measures that the government has to put in place around things like grid access, around things like tariff and planning, in order to make anaerobic digestion, a technology which is so widely available across many other European countries, to make that technology available here in Ireland. So I hope you'll take the time each week to have a look at the Sustainable Farm Insights page on the Irish Farmers Journal to look at the measures you're doing in the area of sustainability, and also keep an eye to some sustainability measures you can take on. I hope you enjoyed the read, and thank you.
Now we'll hear from Teagasc's Richard O'Brien and Stephen Moore on decisions to be made as we approach the end of the breeding season.
The importance of finishing, Stephen, maybe first of all at 12 weeks. How important is that we put a date on it?
We see that as really important to ensure that there's a compact calving next spring, but it also allows us to maximise the number of cows that are going to go in calf during the breeding season. On the
slide there, Stephen, you have the dates outlined for when you start and then when to stop, and when maybe the next step is the pregnancy check.
Yes, so I guess on farms that have, Richard, started, majority of farms might have started breeding on, maybe between the 23rd and the 30th of April. And now kind of is the time to stop breeding. So for 12 weeks done, the breeding dates will be kind of the 15th to the 22nd of July, which is only kind of, occurring around the next 2 weeks, okay? So from our point of view, the optimal time to do a pregnancy scan on the cows would be around 5 to 7 weeks after the end of breeding. So on the majority of herds, this is going to be anywhere kind of around from the 19th of August up until maybe the 9th of September. But also doing the scan at this time will allow us to get an accurate date on the cows that went in calf during the first 6 weeks of the breeding season, and separate them out from the cows that went in calf during the last 6 weeks of the breeding season. Of course, the other point to make that's really critical to being able to do that is having all of the breeding dates recorded, so because they would be really important to stage to pregnancy.
And you have 2 options there for pregnancy diagnosis, Stephen?
Yeah, so Richard, I guess the the two main options are either doing the milk pregnancy tests from using the milk samples that are collected at the standard milk recording, and obviously then there's the traditional method would be doing the ultrasound method. So I guess just a few things to point out. With the milk pregnancy test, I guess some people see the advantage that it can be done from the milk recording sample, and there's less labour involved in that. However, you do have to wait a few days for the results to come back before you know. The other thing about the milk pregnancy test is that it will only tell you whether a cow is pregnant or not pregnant. It doesn't give the stage of pregnancy. I guess important action, Richard, is to upload all of this data to the Herd Plus and the ICBF, the breeding dates and the pregnancy results, and they'll calculate the expected calving dates for the herd as well, which will be really useful to plan the calving season next spring.
If we look at Pasture-Based Ireland data over the last 7 days, national growth stands at 72 kilos of dry matter per hectare per day as an average, and growth is exceeding national average demand by a total of 15 kilos of dry matter per hectare per day. As time goes on with growth exceeding demand, you'll get an accumulation of grass which will lead to surplus grass being available on the milking platform. And as soon as weather allows, especially in broken weather conditions, right decisions about taking out surplus grass need to be made, as the main focus at the moment should be on grass quality and continuously having high quality grass and target pre-grazing heights of 12 to 1400 in front of the grazing mob at all times. A few key targets to have in mind at the moment in regards to keeping quality grass ahead of the grazing mob is turning cows into your target pre-grazing yield of 12 to 1400 kilos of dry matter per hectare, an average farm cover of between 600 and 700 kilos of dry matter per hectare. We want to target a rotation length of between 18 to 21 days. In a dry stock scenario, we talk about having 12 days of grass ahead of the stock. And we want to have a cover per cow or cover per livestock unit target of between 160 to 180 kilos of dry matter available per livestock unit. Nationally at the moment that figure stands at in excess of 200 kilos of dry matter available per livestock unit, which would indicate an amount of surplus grass available on the milking platform at the moment. And then a key target to have in mind also is your residuals, and achieving 4 centimetre residuals in your paddocks and cleaning out those paddocks in order to have high quality grass available in the next rotation. When we get to this point in the grazing season, it's also worth sitting down to assess how much grass has been grown year to date. If we look at how much grazings have taken place per paddock, and then we look at our target pre-grazing yields. For an example, if you have 6 grazings in a paddock, and we've always turned cows into the target pre-grazing height, that paddock of 1300 kilos of dry matter per hectare, if we multiply these two figures together, it'll highlight that we've grown 7.8 tonnes per hectare in that paddock year to date. Also then, this will highlight, are you on target to achieve what you set out to achieve at the beginning of the grazing season on total tonnes output per hectare? And then also it'll highlight some of your least performing paddocks and some decisions that may need to be made in regards to those least performing paddocks. For more information on any topics covered in this week's Glanbia Ireland Dairy Focus Vodcast, contact your local Glanbia Ireland representative or log on to glanbiaconnect.com.